really trying to make sure that the sound money is there, because, you know, I tell our clients that you really don't have a well-diversified portfolio if everything's in dollars. So that's where we've been going with things.
Right.
Well,
So on the annuity, is that pre-tax or post-tax?
You name it. We specialize in, we're annuity architects. So we show you whatever you need income today, you need income later, you want to play pre-tax, post-tax, tax-free. There's some avenues towards tax-free, obviously, with the Roths and all that. And some other strategies. We use insurance products for also tax-free money as well. As a, you know, so we pretty much got it all.
Yeah, that answered the question. I got some people with annuities and they don't know if they're pre-tax or post-tax, but it sounds like they can be either.
You know, I'm a problem solver, so I love talking to people about their whatever they got already and just trying to help them explain it, because they can be complex if somebody doesn't keep them simplified for them, you know.
Yep.
And then variable annuities is another world that I used to be in, and I don't miss it now, because I don't want to be in that compliance world and everything else where all these different, you know, and plus we're at the end of as you know, we're getting towards the end of a party. They're getting ready to turn out the lights here. So
Yep.
why gold and silver is going to be huge, you know.
Right.
But I'm looking forward to I hope Dan gets on here.
well,
Dan is
we got Walter on here.
cool.
How you doing, Walter?
Hi, Walter.
Hey, Walter.
Don't worry about it. Just drive.
Hey guys, I'm doing pretty good. Thanks. Just got back. Sorry I wasn't here for the past couple of weeks, but I was in classes at Fire College down in Alabama. So I got back yesterday at 1 p.m. and now I'm getting back to work already. So here we go.
Yeah, well, Walter, we're glad to have you. We want to go. We'll get started. Hopefully, other people chime in. Have Ben Russ with us. Ben he pretty much knows quite a bit about gold and silver. I mean, he's been a worker for 30 years. Then he got into
Direct
marketing for
Yep.
about 25 years. Then he hooked up with 7K, and he actually pans for gold. So that was an interesting concept for me, and it's interesting to have someone that knows quite a bit about precious metals. We've had questions about how the cost of the numismatic coin, its breakdown. We've had questions about conversation stoppers. We just had general questions. We've had questions about the point system. And so this is why I asked for Ben to really be on the meeting with us. We're going to have him today and next Monday as well. So what we can do is, Ben, maybe you can start with, we talked, when we left off last week, it was pretty much about the point system. And this is really interesting to Ray, because Ray is our key person to really direct us on that. We thought we would like to get an explanation of how those points really work.
Okay. I was just looking here real quick for a diagram that I put together, but I won't waste our time if I don't find it real quick.
Please find
So the point system. You know, obviously we have two teams. We have a left team and a right team, and the points come from memberships, auto savers, purchases, and healthcare plans. Okay, so that's where the points come from. Now, the auto savers will give you like 15 or 20 points. The products on the products page can range anywhere from 2 or 3 points up to, I think, 10 points. And the healthcare plans for the family, for the individuals and families, it's 10 points. And I think it's 15 points for the group plan. So that's where the physical points come from. Now, was the question about, you know, when do you get the points and what's loyalty and what's flushing? Was that the question, or were you just wondering where they're coming from?
Where do we get them? How? Because we were talking about Ray, maybe you can pretty much join in this and kind of ask the question a little bit better than I can, because we had a little spot where we were misunderstanding with you and Dan and I myself. So perhaps you can present what you were explaining.
I think where the confusion comes is, a lot of times when you look at these videos and diagrams and everything else, where the confusion came in and is where you see the personals, right? You have to have your personals X amount for whatever club you're going to be in.
Personal enrollments.
Personal enrollments. And so when they come in under your username or email and you get credited for that person, and that becomes one of your personals, about the placement. Okay. So I think one of the things was and just tell me if I'm not correct in this, but since we are in a binary model, it always flows down. So there's no skipping or building additional crosses or anything else. So even when you have a personal, so where the confusion, I think, with Dan had, who happens to be Walter's dad over here, is when he places them, he's saying, well, no, but shouldn't that be a cross? But, and instead of being placed down line, because, well, how can that person come underneath somebody else and I get credit for it? So if you could explain that in a simpler way than I'm doing it.
Yep, I can do that. Now, Walter, you're on a phone over there, so this may be a little difficult for you to see, but we're going to record this so you can watch it again later. I'm going to share my screen here. Can you let me share my screen?
Yeah. Give me 1 second.
There's a lot of people.
You should be able to share it now.
Okay, a lot of people have this question, and I've basically done my best to explain it, but let me do it this way. Okay, so you're starting a business and you are going to be the CEO of that business. Sorry. Now, with any business, as the CEO, you have your senior VPs, right? Now, when I talk about personal enrollments, we're talking about people that you have enrolled both right and left. Okay, so let's call them your senior VPs. Now, when somebody underneath of you enrolls a person, then they are not your personal, but they help that person become an associate, right? So I look at this as a platform, and I explained this to somebody else and all of a sudden it made sense. So bear with me here. So if you build a team on just 2 people and you get heavy on the left, your platform is going to start to, tip. Okay. But if you have more personals, oops. Then all of a sudden your platform starts to get real stable. Do you see what I'm saying? So your personals are like your platform supporters. And the more of those personals that become runners starts to grow your organization on that right team. Let's move them over here. Okay. So if this is your runner, give me 1 second. I got one more concept I want to impart on you.
Okay.
Okay. If that person and that person is what we call your runner, and they start blowing out the team and growing, then that starts ranking you up. Does that make sense so far? So in that person's, you're an associate, and that person's an associate, that makes you a copper, right? Let's just throw a copper color up there. All right, so you're a copper now, and these guys are associates. But what happens if these people underneath of here fall off? They don't stay active. All of a sudden, this person here might not be an associate anymore. Therefore, you're not going to be a copper. So if you can get another personal enrollment building a team, all of a sudden you've got a backup that's now filling that, keeping that rank a copper. Just give me a thumbs up if you're following me so far. Okay, so again, the more personals that you have backing up your rank, the less chance you have of falling out of rank. So your personals are your backups. Now, the team, as far as, let me find a line here. Just want to insert a shape. Not going to happen easily, so I'll do it the hard way. Right? So as long as we keep balance between your left team and your right team, and you've got a couple backups, you can hold that rank. Now, if you make this person a copper, right, and this person a copper, then you get to become a bronze. But if any of these drop out of copper, then you drop back to copper as well, because you have to have a copper on the left and a copper on the right to maintain a bronze. So you want to make sure that you always have backups to whatever is supporting your current rank. So that's when it comes to rank. Go ahead. Do you have a question, Daniel?
The question is, so we have this arrangement with all these members. So if the CEO signs up another personal, where does the next new personal go?
Okay, so I'm gonna answer it in two parts. It's still a personal, so I always look at the personals as frontline people, right? You know, they're my personals, so I always treat them as front line. But now I'm going to duplicate this page. Now, if we're talking about the chain, this was the first person I signed up. This is the second. This is the third, right? The third person signed up this person and put them on the left, then this person and put them on the left, and then this person. So when it comes to points, the enrollments are like a chain, and you just add another link to the chain. And all of these points roll up to the left-hand side. So you got to think about it as two dimensions. One is your rank and personal enrollment dimension. And then the second one is the left outer chain link and the right outer chain link. So anybody on the left that then signs somebody up and places them on the left is going to continue this chain to the left. If somebody signs up on your right and they bring in somebody on the right, then the right-hand chain link is going to continue spilling over. Now, when this doesn't, so that's how the enrollments outer left and outer right work. And that's a different dimension for points versus rank. If we go back and look at rank personals are all your senior VPs. You're looking for the one that's running with the pack, right? They're signing people up, and the people that they sign up are signing people up. And so that's why we call these the runners. You want to identify your runners both left and right and work with them until they get everything under control and they're able to operate on their own. And then go to the next one and work with them and get them to run and operate.
What happens on the right line of the left side and the left line of the right side?
Those are called inside legs. And as a business owner, everybody is going to have a lesser leg at any given time. Now, I have personally experienced my right leg was my power leg and all the points were stacking up in it. And then all of a sudden that leg went dormant and my left leg blew up. Now all of my points are stacking up on my inside left leg due to a person that I placed there. And then their network grew underneath of them. So it flips back and forth between which is your lesser leg and which is your more powerful leg, based on the activity that's taking place there. So never count out an inside leg, because the right person in the right place can flip that in an instant.
So what's the strategy for getting people signed up if they're already on an inside leg?
Right. So what I tell
Benefit
people,
or detriment?
so what I tell people is my personal strategy, and this may work for you, you got to give it some thought, is that wherever I have the potential for greater spillover or greater growth, I would put family and friends on that greater side. Now that's going to change over time. So, you have to work with your sponsor to see what's going on above you or in your team to help you with the strategy at any given point in time. When I started out, I put all my family and friends on one side, and then I went with all my associates and potential business builders, and I went on the other side. Now that's the business builder side has blown out as I had intended it to. And so now I have to make a strategic decision. Am I going to put new people on my other side so that I can keep my paychecks balanced? So there's one more strategy you have to keep in mind when you decide where you're placing people. If you build over your rank, so let's just say you're a copper, you're $1,000 a week, and all of a sudden you have like 10,000 points on one side and 500 on the other at the end of the week. So far, that's great. That's $500 checks coming in every week. But what happens if you put a business builder on your right side and they blow it out? And now you got 2,000 points left, 2,000 points right, but you're only a copper able to earn 1,000. Now you're going to give $1,000 back to the company because you are acquiring points greater than your rank will pay out. So now you have to quickly and strategically place people in the right spot so that you become a bronze and you can collect that $2,000 a week. Did that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense because it happened to me.
Okay, so you understand the not only the points going to the loyalty bank, but the points that are actually flushing.
Yeah.
So it's better, now in my opinion, it's better if you got somebody that's really going to blow it out and you're not a bronze or a silver yet, put that business builder on your strong leg. Let those big points accumulate on one side so that until you get ready to create that rank structure on the outside that will get you to that higher level, let those points keep accumulating on the strong leg.
Okay.
Once you get the structure in place to support your bronze rank, then start putting more people on that side so that when the money does come in, it goes into your pocket and not into the street, which is how I feel when I flush money.
Okay.
Now, I've only flushed money once, maybe twice. I'm okay with it going to the loyalty program. The loyalty program gives you points. To be honest, a 1 point dollar value in the dashboard becomes like a 16-cent value when it hits the loyalty points. But if you save your loyalty points for a year, you know, you can get some pretty nice products out of the loyalty page. And that's a 10-ounce silver coin right there.
That's nice.
It took me a year to accumulate points to get something like that, but at least I spent it on something that was desirable for me. So don't fear the loyalty points so much, but the flushing is definitely not good. Yeah, so that would be my strategy, you know, because, and I've been there, you know, you got this big person that says, you know, I got a lot of people coming in, and you're like, okay. And it's like, I really could use you on the outside leg, but my rank doesn't support the income. So it's like, I'm going to put you on the inside leg and I'm going to keep growing that more, even though it's painful, until I get to the next rank. And I got, right now I'm shooting for silver and I'm about 7 away. And then once I hit silver, then all the signups will go to my outside leg. That is my lesser leg right now, because my rank will support that income. So people in your downline that has 10, 20, 30,000 points, you tell them, you say, look, until you get comfortable and sign up a couple people on that strong leg, do not put anybody on the outside leg, because somebody as an associate will be flushing for weeks and weeks and weeks. Tell people to cut their teeth enrolling people on the strong leg. They got to get comfortable with enrolling people before you start blowing out another leg and flushing money. So that's the long-term strategy. You know, looking back with my 2020 vision, definitely would recommend cutting your teeth by enrolling people on your strong leg. And don't even think about making money until you got, you know, 10, 15,000 points on the left-hand side. Because when you're cashing in the 1,000, the 2,500, the $5,000, 5,000 points on that strong leg, you're getting those $250 and $500 checks.
I've signed up a number of members without knowing or understanding or any information or explanation like this. So I don't know if it's good or bad or indifferent.
Happy to take a look at your back office and tell you where you're sitting. Right now, are they customers or business builders?
Walter's the business builder.
Okay.
Definitely.
And I've got some others doing a little bit.
Okay.
But
it's always good to have a strategy call. You know, we'll set up a Zoom one-on-one and we'll look through your back office and see what's going on. Again, because it's strategy, right? You're the business owner. I mean, I've had people that have come in and say they wanted to know where they sit in the chain above me. And I'm like, you're hired to this company. And no, I'm not going to give you access to the parent company. You know, you just don't, you know, employees don't hire into a company and start asking you to describe the architecture of the parent company. It's like, look, you know, I'll be perfectly honest with you. Sometimes people come in looking that deep at an opportunity like this. They're either going to, you know, find something that they don't enjoy about it anyway, and they're not going to do anything, or they're going to sit there and wait for you to build their business. It's like, you know, be honest with those people and say, you know, if that's the kind of person you are, I would recommend you just be a customer and enjoy the benefits of the program. I mean, they're wonderful benefits, you know, but if you don't have a strategy to build your own business, or somebody's not mentoring you in how to do that, then, you know, coming in at the $4.99 and being a business builder may not be the best interest for you right now. Because people have to want this. This is a wonderful opportunity, and it's an absolutely amazing opportunity given the times that we're in for what we're able to do for people. And if they don't see it, it's our job to make sure they do before we sign them up. Because when they sign up, they should be so excited about this that they're just telling everybody. I make up my own little business cards, and I get they're just business cards. And then I put a QR code on the back of it. And all that it does is tells them to click on that or go to the website. for a little bit of education that they kept from us in high school. Right? I mean, this education we're getting now should have been given to us when we were leaving high school on how to manage our wealth. And nobody taught us how to do that. They taught us how to be employees. And that's what we did for 30 years until we got smart and figured it out and then said, okay, no, I'm going to be my own boss. So, more questions?
Dan, does that clear up everything on your thinking on?
Does it help?
Helps slightly,
Tell
but
me.
I need a closer look at my setup, I guess, to
Okay.
figure it out.
Yeah.
Because I
let's-
just put them under, I put one here, built associate, and I just went down without regard to the outside legs. Didn't understand it, still not confident in it, but I just built up, and I've been trying to build up those underneath me rather than going out more personals out this way for ranking, because there's not enough points to rank up right now anyway, but trying to get those down line to be encouraged, excited, build them up, get people signed up under them rather than my own personals.
Right. And I did the same thing and I suffered long-term. I suffered from that, but I didn't know it at the time either. You learn this by looking back on your first year. So where are you at right now? What's your rank, Dan?
Associate,
Okay. And how many points are on your left and right? Roughly.
I don't know right now.
I'm just trying to figure out, do you have a strong leg?
Yes, my right side is where Walter is my strong one.
All right.
The left side is, it builds, but not as strong.
Okay. So one thing I would encourage you to do, and I'll get a template over to Stephen, is I have what I call my momentum tracker. And what I do is every week, I go in and I capture my numbers. So I know where my numbers are at each week. I track my left points, my right points. I track the number of people in my left team, the number of people in my right team, my personals, my loyalty points, and the number of people that I have an email drip going to, so that I know if my email drip is still going out or if they've unsubscribed from my email drip, because that's your email drip is your pipeline, right? It's like, how many people are you dumping into your pipeline each week? And that's either people personally subscribing to a newsletter or you entering people into a newsletter, whatever it is. I was just telling Stephen, I got a bunch of leads here that have to be added to my email drip and I have to make first contact with and all that kind of stuff. I basically make a first cold call contact and I say, hi, this is who I am and this is what I do, with a teaser. And I tell them, I said, look, I'm going to add you to my email list, subscribe you to my email list so that you can get more information. You can hit unsubscribe at any time. So I'd let them know that it's coming and I let them know that they can unsubscribe very easily, big old unsubscribe button in there. And then this way they don't get angry and it's like, at least they've been notified that it's coming. And then the way I do my email drips is I always say, I'm going to tell you this in my next email. So this way they don't unsubscribe. Their curiosity is up and they're always waiting for the next email to come in. And again, it's just a big teaser stream of email, but I'm educating along the way as well.
Do you make up your own emails or how?
Yeah. Yep. So I used to teach a system that walked people through, the stages of a prospect, a lead, a customer, and a business partner. There's 4 stages to walk a cold lead person through. And what I do is I escalate them, once they go from being a prospect to a lead. And do you know the difference between a prospect and a lead?
A lead is a name, a prospect is potential interest.
So close. A prospect doesn't know they have a problem and they don't know that there's a solution. A lead is aware of the problem, but unaware of the solution. The customer is someone who's aware of the problem and aware of the solution. And a business builder is somebody that educates people that they have a problem and that there's a solution available. Okay. So you want to take them from being unaware to aware of both the problem and the solution. And I believe that a prospect becomes a lead when they raise their hand and say, I'd like more information. So given those concepts, look at your marketing material and your marketing strategy and see if you are promoting what they need at the right time.
Hey, Ben.
Yeah.
Good. I liked how you phrased it. That's awesome. I just went into Dan's back office, and Dan right now has 230 points on his left and 890 on his right. He has not flushed any points or anything like that, but he has put a lot of people underneath on his downlines and doesn't have the personal. So I don't think it's cost him any money as of yet, but
Nope.
obviously setting the table is important here, you know?
I just wanted to know what his structure looked like. That's all. So yeah, I would at this point, you know, if
I got 4 associates underneath me.
right. So here's the strategy. And if you think about this, you're on a Saturday night. If I was sitting here like this and I was an associate, I would buy myself a state animal series coin and get that 20 points. So because I'm going to get the coin and I'm going to get the 20 points and I'm going to turn that 230 into 250 and I'm going to get a check. So I spent $139 to get a check for 250. That's what I would have done Saturday night if all these points were there at that time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see.
Okay. Always be looking at your back office at about 11 o'clock Saturday night, 11 o'clock Mountain Time, because in 1 hour, the decision is going to be made to pay you or not pay you. And if the power is within your control to cause you to get paid and it's a wash for you, do it. So you have the power to purchase 1 or 2 coins for your auto, and all you got to do is go in and process an autosaver. That's all you got to do. That process now button is the vehicle to turn this 230 into a $250 check in your account by Sunday morning. Now, if you got somebody that's on the fence and you need 150 points or 50 points or a couple of 50 points, then you work really hard on the phone and say, look, you know, we've got some big things happening here and now is the time to take a position. I can't guarantee that you're going to benefit tomorrow, but if you sign up tonight, I can see, you know, within a few weeks that you're going to be in a very lucrative position. And that's when you sign somebody up on your power leg, right? And or the other leg if you need to, and you just start working that leg so that they see those points coming in over the next week or two. It only takes a couple of enrollments to spill over underneath of a person for them to get excited. Because they're saying, oh my God, it's like, there's actually points there and I didn't do anything for it. And you say, yeah, that's when you start explaining that is what residual income is all about. Leveraging the activity of others.
Well, this is good information, but I'm gonna have to take this and figure out my own situation, I guess, the structure.
Well, not by yourself. You need to bring the questions you have now back to next week's meeting. Look at it. I mean, I know that the window for looking at the structure is really hard. I would literally draw it out. Like we were saying here. Sorry for the little screen. I should have stopped sharing, but let me go ahead and bring up another screen here. All right. I'm going to bring up, I have a whole folder here of education, so I'm just looking through the folder to see if I can find silver strategy. Go ahead and ask me another question while I'm bringing this up so I can keep the conversation going.
While you're doing that, Steve has sent out some nice diagrams in the past too, in regards to how to go to silver, bronze, copper. So I think just plugging that in, putting in the people.
Yeah, the templates.
Yeah, Steve's done a really good job at making sure we have those templates. So we do have them. So.
Okay, so you'll have seen those already.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so just, it's really hard if you don't have a lead source, if you're trying to generate the leads yourself. But if you have a lead source and a good script to follow, it should be, I always tell people, it's like my first cold call is, hey, do you have a minute? I want to help you. I want to educate you on the power of gold and silver. I tell them this is not a sales call. I do not expect you to buy anything by the end of this call. I just want you to make sure that you understand the platform is available and the power of getting started now.
Ben, do you have any scripts that you might be able to share with us? Maybe you can send me some. I can pass them to my group.
I will send you some ideas. They're not completely fleshed out yet.
Yeah,
We're all working on what's the right wording and how it works. But I have found that more people have called me back when I let them know that I'm not trying to sell them anything. I'm more educating them. And, they go check with a couple of people. They come back with 1 or 2 people. I'm now talking to 3 people, and that seems to work out pretty well.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I want to.
And like I was just telling Steve, I had a lady I talked to 4 months ago who was texting me last night going, hey, are you still doing that? I'm like, yeah. She said, I really wish I'd have stepped in 4 months ago when you first told me about this. And I said, there's nothing stopping you from getting started now.
Yeah, good. I know soon everybody's gonna have to go because they do their morning business, but I'd like you to just explain the breakdown of the numismatic coin price. That was a matter that came up. I don't think it'll take that long, but I want everybody to understand that
Right.
as it relates to how 7K is pricing it.
All right, so this is our basic autosaver. The value of that silver in there, I don't know if somebody's on the dashboard, what's 7K selling an American Eagle for right now?
I think it's $36 or something like that.
Let's go with 36, right? So you got $36. This coin had to be shipped to NGC. That's a $10 shipment, $35 to get it graded, $10 to ship it back. That puts us at 60. That puts us at $91. We sell this coin for 105. So that gives us $14 premium is what they're charging for this collectible MS70 never been touched graded coin, right? It's a perfect coin in a perfect condition. So that's how you get a $36 American Eagle to a $105 collectible coin, because it has intrinsic value and there has been labor to get it to this state. Now, that's why we're seeing, these coins go up in value, because the longer you hold them, the more they're going to be worth. Now, in the first 6 months to a year, you may not see much fluctuation on this coin, but the value is there. And the fact that it's part of a collection means that somebody's going to have to spend time and effort to put this collection together, because there's 50 of them, right? Because all of them have the state label on them. So once the collection is complete, then it starts adding more intrinsic value just because of the historical effort that went into collecting that coin.
Now, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just going to say there are other ways of looking at these coins as well. I'd be happy to share that with you once we wrap up the recording.
Okay. Spot price to price of a coin.
Okay, so spot price, that is the cost that it takes. That is the incentive the world gives a miner to dig the material out of the ground. That's what spot price is. All right, now they got to dig it out of the ground, pay for their fuel, their labor, their equipment, and they have to take the ore to a smelter. The smelter has to refine it, melt it down and process it and refine it multiple times to get it into a bar that can be sent to the mint. When the mint receives the bar, they melt it down again and they create strips. You'll see a long, just a long metallic strip that they then feed through a press to punch out the blanks. The blanks have to be cleaned or deburred of all the sharp edges, and then an edge has to be placed on the coin. And once the blank, which is a deburred edged coin, is created and sent through the mint, a 36,000 pound press mints the coin. And then that coin is then evaluated, and some of them will be MS-70s, 69s, 68, 65s. It just depends on if it's damaged when it comes out, if it gets a nick, if it's not minted properly. So you think about all those processes that are taken from the time the spot price is dug out of the ground. Then you go through the smelter, the mint, the wholesaler, the distributor, the retailer. That's how you get down to how do we pay $36 for a $27 spot price. Those are the little incremental fees added on each time that coin gets to a customer's hand.
What are some of your responses to those that say silver is silver, let's say, and I'll pay $27 for an ounce rather than 36 or 105?
Are you saying $27 for an ounce of bullion?
Yes, the kind of like a raw coin, a raw round. Those that say I don't care about collectible or grading, I just want the silver, because when push comes to shove and the economy tanks, then it doesn't matter about collectability. I just need the ounce of silver or whatever it might be.
Right. Just don't forget to remind them that the bullion that you're purchasing is reportable. So you've got to acquire it in smaller and smaller increments to keep it under the reportable level of, what is it, $10,000? So the bullion sales are reportable. The American Gold and the American Silver Eagle are not reportable. So that's the difference between the bullion and a coin. Now I keep them right here, So the silver and the gold eagle, just doesn't even show up, does it? These are non-reportable. And you got to go through the buyer cert. Have you been through the buyer certification training? Okay, so you got a really good grasp on what's reportable and what's not reportable. So be sure to answer that question with that answer. And then the other thing is that, with the new wealth strategy presentation, which we've been going through quite a number of times with our weekly calls, bullion is the defense. You're not expecting to get any money from the bullion investment. It's there to keep your wealth from losing value as opposed to gaining value. It's the stable investment. Now, your collectible coins like these guys here is where the value is going to jump up. This one right here, grabbing the wrong one. The Panther was just recently listed on Stack and Sell for $9,998.
Man.
Right?
Don't
So
don't mention that. That hurts me.
my advertisement, here's a prospect calling me right now. Because I use a phone number from GoDaddy. It's called SmartLine. It's $10 a month, but I got to pick my phone number. So when that number rings on my phone, I know immediately it's a customer calling in to get more information. So that's just one of the strategies that I use. And this one here, the owl, that's now listed on Stack and Sell for 2,000. So when we talk about these collectible coins and not having any value when the disaster strikes, it's like nod your head and agree with them and ask them when the last time a disaster struck that they prepared for that never happened, and say, look, do the bullion, right? Get your 10 ounces of silver or whatever, but also invest in your collectibles, because if it doesn't happen, where else are you going to get 32% return on your investment? Okay, because Stack and Sell, when you put all your coins in there, will tell you what your return on investment is on your collection right now. If you go to the dashboard of Stack and Sell with where your collection is all entered, it's like we can see live coverage of what our return on our investment is with our collectible coins. So that's how I approach some of those questions or objections when they're raised. You know, bullion is defense, collectibles are offense. You know, who would have ever thought that a first issue of Spider-Man comic book would sell for $3.6 million? You know, everybody laughs at me because I still held on to my Beanie Babies. Everybody laughs at me because I held on to my kids' Pokemon cards. And it's like, yeah, because I had no reason to get rid of them. And I figured 20 years later, that cycle is going to happen again. And people are going to go, oh, but do you have any of those originals left? I'm like, yeah, I got lots of them. So, yeah, collectibles. You'll be smiling 10 years down the road when you have some collectibles.
That's good stuff, Ben. You know, I have to jump off. I learned a lot and picked up a lot from you. I can't wait till the next call because I'd love to talk to you about the healthcare benefits and the IRAs and all that. So thank you very much. I'm jumping off right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Ben, what we want to do next week is we want to kind of talk about Dan's situation. Maybe you can, if Dan has questions, we can deal with his strategy. Like to talk about the IRA. And also, I'm not clear on this insurance product that they have, this new one.
Yep.
Maybe you have some information on that and you can share that with us. You did talk about the points from that, but I have some ideas of how I want to do that, but I don't quite know enough about it.
Right.
So maybe we can talk about that. And of course, any other questions the group may have.
Sure.
Here, why don't you terminate the recording and we can finish up some conversation here.
Say that again.
He said, stop the recording and we can have a couple more.
Okay. Let me do that now.